What's up guys, CJ here, and welcome back to another all-new Game of Thrones video. And one of the main questions going into every new season is, who's gonna kick the bucket this time around? The show's gotten a really well-earned reputation for not being afraid to kill off its central characters, something it definitely comes by honestly, as that's a hallmark of the book series as well. And with a massive cast, there's plenty of characters to choose from, so as we enter this penultimate 7th season, who will it be this time around? Looking at the cast, I've come up with 5 characters I think are the most likely to die this season and assigned them odds based on that likeliness. First up, we've got Sir Jorah Mormont. Poor Sir Jorah. All he did for love, falling head over heels for Daenerys no matter how creepy and maybe a little misguided it was. During his journeys with the Queen, Jorah contracted grayscale, a fatal disease that ultimately sees its victims go mad before the stone-like hardening of their skin spreads to their brain and internal organs. The disease takes years to progress, but after the premiere episode, he seems to be worse for the wear, and it looks like the disease is progressing quickly. Whether it's because of the disease or just a heroic sacrifice made to protect his Khaleesi, I have this feeling Jorah won't live to see the series finale, and there's a really good chance he kicks the bucket this year, so I give Jorah 3-1 odds. Next up, Petyr Baelish. Oh, Petyr. More than anyone else, Littlefinger has taught us how vicious the Game of Thrones really could be. A savvy political operator, he's wheeled, dealed, murdered, and betrayed his way from Master of Coin at the start of this show into a premier lordship as Regent of the Vale, and now he stands as one of Sansa Stark's closest advisors. Why do I think he'll die? Well, as savvy as he is, when you look at it, he's never fucked up. I mean, he's never had anything not go his way. He's never had anyone double-cross him, and that luck just has to run out at some point. Whether he tries to turn Sansa against Jon, or take advantage of her, or he tries to sell the Northern Lords out to the Lannisters, something tells me that Petyr's luck is gonna run out this year, so I give him 5-1 odds to bite the bullet. Coming in third, Cersei Lannister. For years we've watched Cersei, probably thinking we should feel bad for her as everyone she loves dies, but we don't, and that's because she's a stone-cold bitch and has definitely done her share of the work to earn her reputation as one of the most hated characters the series has to offer. And now, after the death of her father, the death of Ramsay, the death of Walter Frey, she's really the only non-White Walker-y villain left standing. Sooner or later, the series is also going to have to undergo a major pivot, as the White Walker menace, which had previously taken a backseat to the War for the Throne, is now the clear and present threat. So, while I think Jon and Dany could set aside their differences to fight that threat, I really don't expect Cersei would. But more specifically, one of the series' most important moments happened in the Season 6 finale. But it wasn't that Jon reveal, it wasn't Tommen's suicide, it wasn't Daenerys sailing west, it was Jaime riding into King's Landing and finding that great Sept of Baelor destroyed by wildfire. Why is that important? Well, if you don't remember Jaime's nickname that was bandied about pretty often earlier in the show's run, it was Kingslayer. He earned that title by killing Aerys II, but what most citizens of Westeros don't know is that he did that to prevent the destruction of King's Landing, as Aerys had just ordered his alchemists to ignite the wildfire caches they had stored under the city, basically all throughout. So, at least in my mind, when Jaime's riding up to the city to find hundreds, maybe thousands dead by that same wildfire at the order of his sister who used it to take the throne, I think there's just one former ruler that comes to his mind. So I'll give Cersei 7-1 odds not to survive this season, and for all the same reasons mentioned just a few seconds ago, I think Jaime's going to commit suicide shortly thereafter, so he checks in at number 4 with 10-1 odds. But last but not least, Tormund Giantsbane. This one sucks, because let's be honest, everybody loves Tormund. The red-bearded wildling has been a fan favorite since he debuted in the 3rd season as an irreverent badass with a heart of gold. There's really nothing in his character that suggests he won't last, but looking at the track record of Game of Thrones that I mentioned earlier in the video, I think Tormund's a prime candidate to get the axe, just based on his popularity and, honestly, his relative expendability. And what do I mean by that? Well, as we've moved beyond the books story-wise, we're in completely uncharted territory in terms of the characters and plot. Yes, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss have spoken to George R.R. Martin about the resolution of the saga to make sure the show and book endings don't differ too wildly, but it's safe to assume George didn't fill them in on every little detail of the 6th and 7th books to still give people a reason to buy and read them. And given that, we'll probably see some things that happen differently in the text, beginning last season and progressing through until the end of the show with Season 8, from certain subplots to characters dying in the show and not the book, and vice versa. Long story short, Benioff and Weiss have free reign so long as they get where they need to go. Tormund is, unfortunately in my eyes, a prime candidate because he's simply so popular that it would be shocking and memorable no matter how his death happens. And without the structure of the text, those time-tested deaths that have been there for literally the 2 decades since the series started, Tormund dying would be an easy win, and just a memorable moment for the showrunners. So overall, I'll give Tormund 15-to-1 odds to die this season. Let me know who you think will be killed off this season, but that's gonna do it for me here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like if you like what you saw, subscribe for more great content every single day, and consider turning on your notifications to be alerted every time we upload a new video. Signing off, this is CJ, and I'll see you next time.